Good morning, Wellness Warriors. I'm going to talk a little bit about, um, well, stomach issues and IBS and that kind of stuff. And then we're going to get to the questions this morning. I wanted to say hi to Caron Street. You're having great weather here in apparently the Quebec area, just like me. So I'm super happy to see you here. And so let's get started. And then I'm going to come back to your questions. So put your questions in the chat, but I'll get to them later. One of the things that happened is I heard doctors talking about SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, to explain bloating, abdominal pain, diarrhea, and nutrient malabsorption. Of course, there are antibiotics that we can take to treat this. There are also prebiotics and probiotics that we can take to try to avoid it in the first place. Google says that SIBO is caused by IBS, structural abnormalities of the digestive tract. So that's things like Crohn's, or perhaps you've had some kind of weight loss surgery scenario happen. So that can also cause it. Or it can be caused by low stomach acid. I'm sure there are other things, but those are the ones that it kind of calls out right away. As a funny aside, low stomach acid can be caused by eating high carbohydrate foods. IBS can be caused by eating high carbohydrate foods. And of course, Crohn's disease sufferers complain about, most of the time they complain about, vegetables, fruits, grains, nuts, seeds, legumes, those kind of things, right? So plant matter. What I didn't know was that all of these conditions could lead to joint pain, brain fog, low energy, and skin rashes. So we tend to blame our age, weight, and lack of exercise for these problems, right? But apparently, overconsumption of carbohydrate comes with plant toxins and anti-nutrients that signal our body to produce zonulin. Zonulin is a protein that disrupts the tight junctions of our intestinal walls. So basically of our guts, right? That's bad, Wellness Warrior. That allows stuff from our intestines to actually enter our body. Undigested protein and toxins leak right into our bloodstream. So your immune system goes into high alert, the troops are deployed, and your body is actually attacking itself. Now you have joint pain and brain fog and whatever other problems come about from systemic inflammation. And all of this was triggered by the health food that you're eating. I'm not a doctor. I'm Violet. Hi. I had no idea, right, that my joints were in pain for 23 years because I was eating the wrong stuff. I tried everything to feel better. And then I found keto and got my life back. So I'm sharing what I learned with you so that you can become a partner in your own health journey. There are 3 ways the food industry scares us into eating the very foods that cause our poor health. And to understand exactly how they get us to buy the food causing our gut to feel turbulent and swollen, uncomfortable as all get out, and just making us like really not happy, we needed to take a look at this 50-year-old math trick that they've been doing for such a long time, more than 50 years. The mind games that they play with us, Wellness Warrior, are crazy. We have no idea how our bodies work. But what we do know is that we eat food and make waste. Do that regularly. What's kind of crazy is that the food companies seem to know more about how the body works than the doctors do these days. They don't just understand how to ensure that we're compelled to eat product. They know what causes us to overeat and what leads to satiety. Right? Like they understand what causes us to be satiated, to not want to eat anymore. They know that. They also understand that we desperately want to be healthy and pain-free. So that math that I was just talking about, the total carbs minus fiber to find the net carb game does one thing extremely well. It makes us believe that processed food has the amazing healthy fiber that we need for bathrooming with ease. Now, we know that there's fiber in fruits and vegetables, but we're not worried about doing math. We do not put our brain around trying to figure out how much fiber is in this apple or this celery or whatever other vegetation that we're eating. But those granola bars and keto snacks full of fiber to make sure that our bathrooming goes smoothly, right? We are thinking about that fiber. It keeps the fiber top of mind, right? On purpose. They want us thinking about fiber. Since the 1970s, they've had us obsessing over how often we go to the bathroom, verifying how often our children eliminate. And okay, for us dieters in the 70s, it was also about the net carb scenario, meaning that we could eat a bit more, right? Because we were on those restrictions, like those calorie restrictions and keeping the amount of food coming in super low. So yes, it meant that we could have a bit more, we could eat a bit more, okay? And even today, we use it so we can eat a bit more. But we need to understand that fiber cannot be digested by us. The process of digestion and elimination of fiber is done by our gut microbiome. And therefore, we will feel the gas and pain of that process. Understand what that means, Wellness Warrior. It is not a natural, normal scenario to be gassy, to be painful in your gut area, in your intestinal tract. Something that we grew up just thinking was normal. I mean, when we were kids, we laughed about the farts, right? We joked about it. We thought, oh, that's so funny. As adults, as embarrassing as all get out, right? We don't want it. We don't think it's funny anymore. And we will experience the diarrhea or constipation and bunch of gassiness that the process produces because our gut microbes are feasting away. There is no way around what's happening in there as long as we're eating fibrous foods. Food companies have us so terrified of constipation that we seem to have forgotten a simple biological fact. Eating healthy fat actually stimulates the bathroom process naturally. So we are eating all this roughage. Our systems are failing, and we double down with over-the-counter fiber potions and to force us to, go to the bathroom, all the while setting ourselves up to be straining in the bathroom, gassy and embarrassed, and seeking medical advice that basically labels our problems and offers us more laxatives. And we are scared not to buy the fiber-filled snacks and laxatives because we think if we don't go to the bathroom as often as we've been going to the bathroom, we are going to have a health crisis. I'm really curious to know if you guys have lived this. Have you been so terrified that you haven't been to the bathroom in a few weeks? Sorry, in a few, not even, oh my God, a few weeks you'd be in trouble. A few hours, that you're worried about it, that you're concerned about it. Has that happened to you? So, what are we to do when, despite our best efforts, we end up with IBS or Crohn's? Right? We officially have a label, and now we have dietary restrictions. What are the first things that they take away from us, Wellness Warrior? red meat. You got to limit that red meat. You can't be eating that anymore. That's apparently causing your stomach issues. We need to limit fat intake and focus your attention on low fat, lean meat. Right? So that's now we're looking at all the chicken and the fish and right and when you're having a flare up, we need to avoid fiber. So when the flare up is happening, when I'm desperate and in pain, doubled over, can't do anything else, this is when they finally acknowledge that fiber is a problem. But before that, I needed the fiber to go to the bathroom, right? But what do they replace the fiber with? Because, I can't eat red meat. I need, right? What do they, now they replace the fiber with these low residue foodstuffs like bread, white rice, pasta, white crackers. Don't you dare eat the whole wheat ones. But basically, they're replacing fibrous vegetables with wheat products. Wheat products. Wellness Warrior, remember that zonulin I spoke about a little bit ago? That messes with your tight junctions in your gut? Yeah. The wheat protein, so gluten, triggers the production of zonulin. Lectins bind to the gut wall and physically irritate it. Wheat enzymes, lectins are in wheat, by the way, and wheat enzymes block our enzymes from being able to break down the wheat proteins, which then allows these wheat proteins to enter our body through the gut lining, right? The tight junctions aren't there anymore, and they trigger our immune system. I mean, honestly, heaven forbid that they tell us to eat meat, fish, poultry, and eggs when we're in a flare-up. We might actually heal our body. No, they couldn't possibly tell us to do that. They tell us to eat these things that just make the story worse. And once our immune system is triggered and inflammation is in progress, we eventually have other physical symptoms. Yeah. Like my joints hurt from the age of 23 through 46. Not only did I eat cereal for breakfast, I'd often eat wheat-based meals. So we're talking sandwiches, burgers, both hamburgers and chicken burgers. That was before I ate those hamburgers before I understood my thalassemia problem. Pizza and pasta. And I'll tell you that pizza was one of my favorite meals. Had that multiple times a week. I had no idea what it was doing to my gut. By my mid-20s, I had rashes that would actually open up and bleed on my skin. Wellness Warrior. Honestly, I would have never guessed that my rashes were related to my gut health. But at 46, keto came along. So I found keto because I was trying to solve the joint pain, which I learned your joint issues are related to what you're eating. Still had no idea about the gut health thing, but what you're eating, your joint issues. Oh, okay. I found keto. I started doing it. And when I did that, not only did my joint pain improve, my rashes improved. So within 3 months of eating a keto diet, my joints felt fine. Understand that. 23 years of seeing doctors and doing exercises and all kinds, 23 years of back pain, knee pain, elbow pain, neck pain, finally hip pain. 3 months of eating keto, everything's back to normal. I'm back to riding my longboard, back to riding my bike, my scooters, back to tree climbing. I took up bouldering because I felt so good. I still feel good. 1 year into eating healthy, my rashes were almost imperceptible. You could barely see them. Like, I mean, obviously, because skin takes a long time to actually heal, I can still tell where the rashes were, but are they open sores anymore? Are they even rashes anymore? Nope. They're skin. They're skin with a little bit of discoloration because it hasn't fully healed yet. And I honestly have no problem with that. I can wait, right? Because you know what? I had no idea that my body was giving me joint pain and rashes to signal to me that the food that I was eating was wrong. We aren't taught that in school. As a matter of fact, the food companies have purposefully put all kinds of distractions in the medical school and research fields to make sure that the doctors won't know this either, right? So there's no way that we'll be taught it in schools, because who's going to teach the teachers to teach it to us when the medical profession is being led astray from it, right? There's nobody to teach it to us. But they absolutely be teaching us that what we eat absolutely matters, because it builds your skin, it builds your organs, it builds every single piece of you. So what you eat matters. Every single child should know that humans need to eat meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt, and that everything else is toxic and shortening their pain-free existence. Yes, every child should know that so that they can grow up to make a good decision. We make sure that our children know that drinking is not advised. We make sure that they know that other recreational stuff that people put in their bodies is not advised. They should know that eating vegetation is not advised. So, are we all just victims of manufactured demand? They get us to eat vegetation when they are fully aware that we cannot tolerate it long term. And it is only meant to be eaten in times of desperate need, when we have nothing else, when we couldn't catch something, which by the way doesn't happen anymore. We can walk to any store and buy meat. Now, if you are in the desperate scenario where you can't afford meat wherever you live, I understand you eating vegetation. If that's not your story, we shouldn't be doing it. So if we're not in desperate need, we shouldn't be doing it. Because when our digestion is on fire from eating that vegetation, when we can't stand the pain anymore, you know what they're going to walk in and do? They're going to sell us prebiotics, probiotics, antibiotics, and digestive enzymes. They make us believe that something is wrong with us, right? We're eating the stuff we shouldn't be eating, but somehow we're broken, right? Because we can't manage the normal food that they've been pushing on us. They pretend that our skin issues, PCOS, IBS, brain fog, and inflammatory health issues are separate from our gut and what we've been eating. I fell for it. I didn't know, right? I know there's lots of you out there who don't know. I'm telling you now because I want you to know. I mean, honestly, is this just one gigantic marketing scam that we've been in for so many years that we can't even see it anymore? Because our grandparents and great-grandparents, who absolutely used to tell us that we were eating out too often, that we were eating too many of these fake, processed stupidities, these things, our grandparents are great. They would tell we were not eating right. They're not here anymore to remind us that we've stopped eating real food, right? When we're doubled over in pain, our grandparents and grandparents aren't here to say, why don't you eat some meat? And even if they say vegetables, at least that came from the land, and it's not this pretend stuff that's full of synthetic stuff that is also triggering our gut. Right? Is there something on the planet that can actually break down the synthetic things that were never meant for humans to eat? Is there? I don't know. Do we break that? I don't know. Our grandparents would have told us, why don't you eat real food? Prebiotics and probiotics aren't what our body needs. Digestive enzymes don't solve the fact that we are eating non-nutritive plant stuffs that our livestock should be eating and processing for us, by the way. That's what they're here for, right? That's why we're supposed to eat the animals, because they process this stuff for us. The food companies want us to think that our bodies are weak, or that we have an imbalanced microbiome that, because when we believe their stupidity, then we will take their products to try to fix our microbiome, right? We will spend thousands of dollars per year on expensive yogurts and suspensions and tablets and products that don't solve the real problem, right? Not at all. They do not solve the fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and ultra-processed garbage that we are eating because we're told we can eat them in moderation when our body is screaming at us, no, you absolutely cannot. Those lesions on me was my body screaming at me that I can't manage this stuff. And I wasn't listening. But, it's because we don't know this, right? So we keep taking their products and we keep eating the healthy food that is damaging our gut and making us cry. We're embarrassed when we constantly are running to the bathroom, or worse, when we don't make it to the bathroom. But we keep paying for their products to force our bodies into submission. This is how much we don't understand how our bodies work. This is how much we don't understand what food is supposed to be doing for us. They've created lifetime customers to their demonic scenarios. It's just demonic. These companies are demonic. They've tricked us into ruining our gut so that we need their products for relief, to barely be able to manage our way through life. We need their stupid products. So, if it isn't clear yet, it's a setup, Wellness Warrior. They're setting us up. The supplements are a solution to a problem they created, right? They are a business model that profits off of our pain, because the one thing that they know is we'll pay money to end our pain. Yeah, we'll pay money for operations if it promises to end our pain, for sure. I mean, I would have had the operation eventually had I not found keto, guaranteed. The way that I was feeling, there is absolutely no way I wasn't going to have that operation. That's why I was so desperate to try to find a solution before, because they were telling me, well, the operation can't happen yet. Your hip is not bad enough yet. The pain that I was feeling, my hip wasn't bad enough yet. I couldn't imagine the scenario where my hip felt worse than what it was feeling. There was no way I was waiting for that operation, which they were refusing to give. So, I mean, thank goodness that they want us crying before they give us the operation, because I probably would have had it. And yeah, I would never have figured out that I didn't need to have it. Honestly, Wellness Warrior, we will empty our bank account to end our pain. Because I'll tell you, not only was I willing to spend money on the answer when I was searching the internet, trying to figure out what was the answer, I was willing to spend money here on the internet to find the answer. But I was willing to do just about anything to get this pain to stop. And when I found keto and read what keto was, you have to, okay, yes, you're putting down carb foods, but you're eating fat and meat and low glycemic vegetables, and you're like, but it's all about the fat and the fat and the fat. And I will tell you, because back then I thought fat makes you fat. I was willing to put on 100 pounds to end my pain. Because I honestly thought keto was a fat track to weight gain. And I did it anyway. That's how much I wanted the pain to stop, Wellness Warrior. I did it anyway. Thinking that I was just going to be fat but pain-free. Because, yeah, that mattered more to me. They know that you'll do anything to stop the pain, Wellness Warrior. They know that. So now that you know they don't care about you, now that you know they don't care about your pain, now that you know they don't care about your happiness, now that you know that they want your money, I'm sure you have a pantry full of packaged and boxed garbage right now. Fake food that is ruining your body out there in the kitchen right now. Throw them away, Wellness Warrior. Throw them away today. And I know you're going to be like, oh my God, Val, I spent money on that stuff. Throw it away. Because I know what the temptation is. You're going to say, well, when I finished what I have in my pantry, then I'm going to start my new keto way of eating, my new healthy way of eating. I'm going to just finish what I have, and I'm not going to buy anymore. But trust me, that is actually part of the trap. What you're going to see is going to happen is that as you're finishing up the stuff in the cupboard, in the pantry, you're going to maybe go to make some pancakes. Geez, I need syrup to use the pancake mix. So you're going to go buy some syrup. And then you're going to finish that box of pancake mix, but now you've got syrup left over. Oh, well, now I've got to buy some pancake mix to finish the syrup. It's a never-ending game. And that's why they make their boxes and their side stuff for the boxes in such different sizes, so that you can't just know, oh, I need one of this and this much of that, so that it's all finished at the same time. No, you're constantly replacing some of this to go with some of that, and blah, 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 blah. It's a trap. And what's worse, I'll tell you this, if within the next year, while you're waiting to empty your pantry to start eating real food, if your gut health gets worse, number one, if you get other symptoms because of this gut story, maybe you start having major migraines, or you start having mental health struggles, or you start having PCOS symptoms, or you start having IBS or any other, I don't wish my rashes on anybody. They were so maddening and painful. And, I had to make sure that I didn't get blood on my clothes. Like the craziness that I went through, Wellness Warrior. If you get a label with one of these conditions, now you've been pulled into their system and you are caught because of the pain. You're caught. You're in it. You're stuck. You're trapped. They have you. Do we understand what I'm trying to say? They have you. Once you're on their medications, they have you. And you're going to be on their medications. If they offer you something, not everybody is like me. So let me just explain something to you. Why was my hip hurting me so badly? When I take medication, my stomach screams. So I would have been taking medication. Oh, by the way, when I take medication, not only does my stomach scream, often it doesn't solve the thing it's trying to solve. So I'm that person that can have a migraine and take medication for the migraine, have stomach issues, and the migraine is still there. I've taken medication for problems with my leg being numb. Oh, no, I didn't get medication for that one. I've got medication for my low iron story, which of course didn't work because I have thalassemia. So that was never going to work. It made my body feel worse. I've taken so many medication. I've taken pain medication for my back pain, made my stomach hurt and made me feel woozy. And so I've taken stuff and then had repercussions, and still the problem was there. That is why when my hip was hurting, I did not take any medication, which is why I would have been in pain anyways because medication doesn't work on me. But I was crying at the end of my day. Once you're on medication, Wellness Warrior, and you start to feel somewhat better, if the medication works for you, they have you. So right now, today, this is your opportunity to get control of your health. This is your chance to start eating real food and to cut out the ultra-processed garbage. It isn't food in your pantry, Wellness Warrior. It's a trap. It's garbage. Just throw it away and start fresh. And you are going to thank yourself in 3 months. Yeah, in 3 months. Because 3 months from now, when you have more energy, your skin is clearer, your gut feels better, and whatever else you've started the process of getting rid of, right? Whatever else is feeling better to you, you will thank yourself that you acted immediately and just threw this junk away. You know, honestly, the only reason that these things can even be sitting on my desk for this long is because they aren't real. Can you imagine if this was real food? It would have spoiled for the length of, I think I've had this in, like the expiration date on this thing is 2025. I've had this stupidity, right? I stole it from a friend's house because I said, oh, let me have one of those. 2025 I had this. The expiration date on, like this thing should have puffed up and exploded if it was real food. 2025 November on this one as well. Like, it's ridiculous that these things can last as long as they've lasted. But they can, because they're not real food. Throw them away. Throw them away and your body's going to thank you. And it's going to, how will it thank you? By giving you the joy of feeling better. By giving you the ability to run around and do your activities, by giving you the energy to act like a kid, to play with your grandchildren and your nieces and nephews and your own kids like a child again, because you have a body that's working. But I know that after years of being told that animal fat is the devil, it might be hard to imagine eating it to heal your gut. I know that you're scared. Again, I started this process thinking this cannot work. I have an interview with Holly linked below on this video if you have any questions about this, where she healed her gut issues with real food. Right? I've linked it in the description along with links to my Patreon and YouTube membership. Because if you want to hear my unfiltered thoughts about health and how to stay ahead of the food companies, you want to join my membership. And if you'd like help with your mindset to stick with keto and carnivore, join my coaching program, because that's what we talk about over there. Because I know that there are things that you're doing that are taking you off track and you just don't know how to stop doing those things. come over to the coaching and we'll talk it through, because everybody's different. I can't just throw out one idea and have it work for everyone. That is not how it works. So, Wellness Warrior, I am going to answer all your questions if I can, as many as possible if there's a lot of them. But put your questions in there now, because that is my goal, to get through all of them. Because I love talking to you guys, and I love making sure that you just get healthy. That's the point of me doing all of this. Like I said, I have a goal of knowing that I helped 1,000 people minimum to get healthy, because I lived 23 years of pain. And if I can help 1,000 people either come back like I did, to having a healthy body like I did, to being at goal weight like I am, to be back to goal weight and feeling amazing, worth it. So if I've helped any of you and you haven't told me yet, please put your name in the chat, or say like, you helped me. Just let me know, because I'm going to add your name to my list. I'm making a t-shirt. It's going to have everybody's name on it that I've ever helped. And it's going to motivate me to keep making videos, because that's what I want to do. I want to help people get away from these crazy people that they just want our money. So anyways, I've ranted enough. Let me get to the comments. Hello, Corone Street. Nice to see you here. Silver, cool. Yeah, I know where that is, actually. Very cool. Nice to have you here. And I love the weather. Finally, we're getting some warm weather. I have a plan to take Corey outside. He hasn't been outside in the winter because I don't want to put him in the snow, and the salt that we have here in the snow is all disgusting and dirty. So I'm looking forward to taking him out in the coming weeks. Corey's my cat, by the way. He's having a little nap here in the chair beside me. Chicago will be 74 degrees today, then down to 38 as a high on Wednesday. Oh, a little bit of fluctuation you guys have going on over there. Sing it. So I'm glad to... Oh, so you're in Chicago. Nice to know that. Okay, cool. Let's see who we have. Lambs. Hello. Interesting topic. I got my gut health back without any fiber whatsoever. And many have. Absolutely, because we don't need fiber in our diet. So again, they try to tell us that we're omnivores. And again, all of this because when we eat vegetation, it creates issues that they get to solve. And I really feel like, first of all, that makes me sound so cynical, right? It makes me sound like I just don't trust anyone. But when you've lived the amount of health problems that I've lived, to see them all just float away because you start eating meat, fish, poultry, eggs with the accompanying salt, no supplements. So and that's something that I'm going to share. I'm probably going to talk about it in a video at some point, but I've stopped even taking the iodine because it seems like I've regulated everything, and just adding fish to my diet, like no more cramping, no more. So Wellness Warrior, honestly, it is so frustrating to me that if we were just eating real food for humans, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt, that we wouldn't be having the problems that we have today. But because we eat fun snacks, I used to love pizza, right? Which was just lies. I was compelled to eat pizza. It overpowered me. It called my name, right? The idea that I sometimes would have pizza for lunch, like almost every day, it doesn't make any sense. I watch some people, like some of these outrageous mukbangs that you see, where people are eating 2-3 pizzas at a shot. I remember loving pizza, but at the same time, can we not see that we're out of control when we're eating 2-3 pizzas and wings and fried chicken and lasagna, and when we're eating to the point where we're gonna explode? Can we not see that there's something else going on? And these are the things that happen because we don't see it. We don't understand that there's something else going on. Good morning from Iowa. And your name is Sin Johns. I hope I said that right. And I'm very happy to have you here from Iowa. Texas, shorts are out. You're already wearing your shorts. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to be back to be like outside without a jacket. That's like my number one. I want to be able to just walk out of my house jacket free and not be afraid that by the time I'm coming home, I'm going to be cold. When I can do that, then I'm fine. I love that part. And if it's going to be cold, I want it to be really cold so I can ski and snowboard. Like, I don't want this in between stuff, which is what we're getting right now, where it's not cold enough that it's like, snowboard weather, and it's not snowing anymore. So yeah, I'm done with that now. Thank you, Danoy. I hope I said that right. I appreciate it. Garbage, great word. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it is garbage. We all need to put it down. This carbohydrate garbage stuff just needs to get out of our life. So garbage is the word because that's what it is. And we have a question from Sin John. I hope I'm saying that right. So you don't believe that L. Reuteri is a missing bacteria that our gut needs that we should try to colonize back into ourselves? No. What I will tell you is very basic and very simple. Our gut, so all the microbes, bacteria, whatever you want to call it in our gut, is based on what we are actually eating. And this I learned really early in my keto carnivore journey. And we can actually prove it to ourselves in two very interesting ways, which I have proven to myself because I've made this mistake. If you if you add something to your diet that you don't normally eat, so some kind of plant, something that's not from the same family of plants you normally eat, if you add in that kind of vegetation, you're going to have gas. The first way to prove it to yourself. The one that I lived, very simple. If you remove like a large amount of vegetation from your diet for a long period of time, and a long period of time is not like long. Like, I would say a month is long enough, which is how long it was for me, right? Actually it was 2 months for me, but Pat lived the same thing and he only did a month. So if you go a month or two, but a month is enough, without eating eating vegetation. Let's say like you tried carnivore, which don't do this. This is a mistake. But I'm just letting you know, like, this is how I figured it out. If you go a month without eating vegetation and then eat vegetation that you normally would eat, you're going to have gas. So why? Because your stomach, those microbes, so your stomach, your intestines, your colon, everything, the microbes that were feeding off the vegetation weren't able to keep living because you stopped eating that vegetation. What I learned from Bart K recently is that the microbes that you need for whatever you're eating actually come in on whatever you're eating, which is why when you start eating, let's say broccoli again, you have gas because the microbes come in on the vegetation and they're going to break it down and you're going to have gas. Right? Because otherwise what would have happened, and it only makes sense. I mean, this is me speculating. So I'm just saying it only makes sense. Since my body can't break that stuff down, it should just pass out of me as broccoli into the toilet the first time I eat it. If I needed to, go get those bacteria to digest it. But no, it gets digested. I'm gassy in the process because my body's not used to it anymore. And my body might calm down a little bit on these things, so I might be less gassy, but I'm still going to be gassy. But like that first time when you reintroduce vegetation that when you weren't having vegetation, you're hella gassy. You're not just a little gassy. Like it's embarrassing gassy, right? And so that's how we know that it's not necessary. These are things we're told so that they can keep selling us products. Lady Umbra. Okay. Part of the problem with eating meat is most of us can't afford only grass-fed. No, you don't need grass-fed. Okay. I mean, I've heard Dr. Chafee talk about this. I've heard Dr. Berry talk about this. I've heard Dr. Baker talk about this. I've screamed about this for so long. You do not need to eat grass fed to improve your health. Number one. Number two, I will tell you this, because you're buying this stuff, because you're buying plants, so fruits and vegetables, nothing, because you buy that stuff, you cannot afford meat. I will tell you, Wellness Warrior, my grocery bill has gone down so dramatically because I only eat actual food. Because I don't eat snacks, because I don't eat any vegetation at all, zero. So when I tell you that I don't eat vegetation, I'm not playing games with you guys. I'm not saying this to look good. I'm not, I'm not pretending. I know there's a lot of people that say they're doing something and then they're not doing it. I told you when I screwed up back in the day when I was still eating vegetation and I would end up on a rampage with nuts or it was mostly nuts, actually. Those were the things that got me. Once I went keto and carnivore, I never went back to real junk food. But peanut butter cookies. When I was making keto replacement stuff, I was making those peanut butter cookies. I told you that I was on a rampage with the peanut butter. I've told you whenever I've had a problem because it's reality. But once I actually realized that it's eating these plant things that makes us chase eating these plant things, I stopped. Because what if I'm going to eat these things, they're going to get in my head and then I'm going to chase them. Why am I doing that to myself? And honestly, Wellness Warrior, I know it's hard. That's why I'm telling you to join the coaching program. I know it's hard, but it's possible to do when you actually start and take the time to understand, why is this happening? It's possible to do when you realize that there are other things you can do to help yourself feel better. It's possible to do when you understand that the real life problems that you live that cause hormones levels to change in your mind, in your brain, will then be soothed by the stuff you're eating. If you don't understand how that all relates and works, then you're not going to be able to take the actions you need, the steps you need to take to stop it all from happening, and you will end up eating the stuff again. But I can tell you that you don't need grass-fed to heal your body. Do not need it. Absolutely false, untrue that you need grass-fed to start feeling better. That's not what you need. What you need is to eat real food. So you should be eating meat, fish, poultry, and eggs. And honestly, I would even say that it's better for you to eat like just straight up chicken and ground, whether it's beef or pork. If that's all you can afford, that's better than trying to figure out how to try to be healthy on plant matter. Because that's not what's happening. What you're doing is you're surviving on plant matter. And like I said, I know there's some of us out there who really, your financial situation is crazy low. But I'll tell you, if I was in that situation, so I'll put my hand up and say, this is what I was doing. If I was in that situation tomorrow, I know that the dollar store sells corned beef and like kind of canned tuna and fish and that kind of stuff. That's what I'd be eating. If I can't afford the fresh stuff, that's what I'd be eating. Why? Because it's actually meat. And yes, now I'm risking plastics, but I would risk the plastics to get the actual meat, and I wouldn't touch vegetation. Again, look at the trade I'm making. Why? Because honestly, that vegetation has so many more active toxins trying to get me. I would risk it. I would go with the canned. I want that meat. I want that fish. I want chicken. Like, I am going there. If I have minimal money, I mean, I can tell you, and again, Wellness Warrior, I still don't even think I would do that because I can live on like $5 a day here in Montreal, eating chicken and ground pork. $5 a day. And if I didn't have money, I could $5 a day is fine. I can probably even get away with less than $5 a day if I wait for everything to be on special and just bulk buy. So there are ways to do it. And if you're trying to do it, if you're focused on doing it, I think I even did I put up a video? Did I make the video yet? I'm not sure if the video is up already or if it's coming up. But I did talk about, I think the video is up already, where I talked about, was it a live stream? Now my brain is not remembering right now. But like I talk about like what I eat and the fact that I can get away with eating. Yeah, it was one of the ones where I was talking about Make America Healthy Again thing that was going on. And I talk about the fact that in your American dollars, I'm living on $3.73 of food a day. $3.73 in your dollars, Wellness Warrior. Like, that is not hard to do. Now, when I add fish to that story, it goes up a little bit. When I add, especially if I add like fancy stuff, like calamari. But can you think about this for a second? For $3.73, I can do chicken and pork. If I want to do fancy and do all the fish and the, right? Like if I want to do like the fish and the bacon and you know, I always have eggs. So eggs were in that first number of 373. It goes up to like $6 and something cents Canadian. I didn't do the math for you guys yet, but it goes up to like $6. It's still under $7. I believe it was still under $7 a day Canadian to eat with fish, as like one meal is an actual fish meal. And then every other day I have either some kind of seafood or eggs for my iodine. And I do that every single day. And I'm eating for $7 or less every single day. Wellness Warrior, it is doable. They have us convinced that meat's too expensive because when they talk about meat, first of all, they're exclusively talking about beef. Now, granted, I don't eat beef. So that's a savings for me. Whereas if you're eating beef, now you have to add maybe in Canada, you're going to be up to $10. Considering that I'm averaging over your entire like month of meals, that $10 a day, if you do that, if you say, let's say you have beef weekly, might be less. It might be $9 or $8 a day if you have it only every other week or every 15 days or however you decide to do it, whatever it is. But my point is, when I was doing standard diet, oh my goodness, my grocery bills were much higher than that. Like, rather than getting away with a few $100s a month in groceries, I was spending a few $100s of every like 5 to 7 days on groceries. Like the amount I was at the grocery store all the time when I was doing standard diet. So again, Lady Umbra, like you absolutely can eat on a budget, a keto or carnivore lifestyle, and be absolutely on a budget and heal your body. It's just about figuring out like where you're going to put your money. But it does mean that we put down this idea of snacking all the time, because that's what's getting us. That's the thing that's causing us not to do well. Yes, Dan Noyes, any meat is better than processed carbs. Absolutely. Lamb says, you will be perfectly fine on grain-fed meat. Absolutely. Totally agree. Thank you guys for making these statements. I buy cheap hamburger often, gently loose to fry. Add some flavors like sour cream. Cheap, fast, and very healthy. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we need to... I will encourage every single one of you to reconsider to taste. Right? The only thing that I put on my food to taste is salt. Everything else I'm eating, and I'm tasting what it is I'm eating. If I'm eating fish, I'm tasting fish. If I'm eating beef, no, sorry, I don't eat beef. If I'm eating pork, I'm tasting pork. If I'm eating chicken, I'm tasting chicken. Over the holidays, I tried turkey, and I tasted turkey. I also tried ham again. I tasted ham. Those are two meats that I used to hate. Let's add fish in there because I used to hate that too. Now all three of them taste fine to me. So what is that telling us? It's telling us that when we're not eating high carbohydrate processed nonsense, our mouth adjusts. And we can get back to the place where we can eat real food and actually enjoy it. Like, did I think there would ever be a day where I would actually look forward to my fish meals? Never. You could never have convinced me that that would be something that would have happened. And yet, it's happening. I actually look forward. Like the other day, I was looking forward to my fish meal, which was like, it blew my mind. Again, there's things that I do now that would not have happened even just 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, tell me that it was Good Friday would roll around every year. And every year I'd be sad for the Friday meal that I had to have because I had to have fish. Right? And now Good Friday doesn't have to be here and I'm having fish. That blows my mind, Wellness Warrior. Most beef starts on small farms, while most carbs start on huge monocrop, big agri farms. And they are sprayed with toxins so that the bugs and the animals don't eat them. And then we end up eating the toxins. So thank you for sharing that. Let's see. There's a bunch of thank yous happening. I love how polite you guys are. My grandmother, mother, and only sibling all died young of metabolic diseases like diabetes. I read Atkins in the early 90s and changed what I ate, stopping my slide into diabetes. Danoa, congratulations. Congratulations on seeing the pattern. Congratulations on taking action to make sure that it didn't happen to you. I'm so sorry that you lost grandma, mom, and your sibling, because that sucks. Like those are people that if they like I'm still sad to this day that I only learned this like what was it 10 years 9 years after my grandmother passed away and years after my aunt and my uncle passed away. I wish I would have had the opportunity to tell them what I've told my parents, and like I scream it throughout my family. Have any of them taken action on it? My dad did. So my dad took action. Reliably, he's the only one that I saw that took action. Like my dad has completely cut back his carb count. He still eats carbs, so like, don't get me wrong. He still even eats rice, but he's dramatically reduced the amount of carbs he's eating, and focusing on eating healthy meats and fish and stuff like that. So I think that all we can do is share the information. And, my hope is that as my dad has changed his lifestyle and he's looking so much healthier, maybe some of my family members will ask him a question or two. And he can say, I listened to, what she had to say about keto and carnivore, and I feel amazing. So maybe that will help. Right? But like, we do what we can do. We can't force anybody. Like, nobody would have been able to pry the chocolate bar out of my hand back when I didn't understand why I shouldn't have been eating it. Nobody would have been able to do that. I wouldn't have listened. I'd have been stubborn. I'd have been like, no, like I wouldn't have understood it. And I wouldn't have just put it down because you're saying, chocolate bars are bad. Of course I know chocolate bars are bad. I was eating them anyway. I needed to understand that chocolate bars were causing some of these other things that were happening with that I didn't understand. Like, I needed to understand what was better for me to eat. And that's the biggest part. Once I understood what was better for me to eat, everything changed, because then all of a sudden I was able to eat better and I was able to do better. Right? And I don't think I ever would have done that had I not understood why the chocolate bars, so why the carbohydrates were bad. I tried really hard to save my sister and mother. They chose to listen to the experts. Oh my goodness. You know what? I understand that. My mom will always say to me, but the doctor said, and I'm just like, yep, I get it. I get it. I'm lucky. Again, I'm going to say this, like Violet syndrome has helped my life in so many ways, right? All the illnesses that I've had where I went into the doctor absolutely believing that they were going to help me, absolutely believing that they were going to be able to say something to me that was going to take my pain or discomfort away. And every time, what they did was give me medication, whether it was to be taken internally or to put on me, that caused me to feel worse, or did nothing when it came to the rashes, and did nothing, not didn't even make the thing feel better. It just did nothing. The number of times that that happened, I lost all, like, I shouldn't say all faith. If I broke my arm, yeah, I'm going to the doctor, right? Like, but whatever is happening to me would have to be like here. If anything is like here, yeah, I'm just gonna look at my food and be like, what did I make a mistake somewhere? But I'm not just running to the doctor, because they first of all, they straight up lie, right? Back in like a few years ago when they were telling us all to go get that stuff that we should get so that we didn't get sick, back then I specifically asked my doctor if they had run any trials or if there's any information about people that have thalassemia. And he full on said, oh yeah, lots of tests, but thalassemia is like less than 1% of the population. Are you trying to tell me that they tested for thalassemia? Right away, I knew he was lying, and I was like, yeah, you just lost all credibility with me. You should have said no. That's not a very that is not a very common disorder. Chances are not likely that they've done testing for that, and then giving me your opinion on why I should or shouldn't do it, right? So there are lots of things that doctors are encouraged to do and say and whatever that they shouldn't listen to, but they do, and it loses the faith that it lost my faith. I'll put it like that. I lost faith in doctors because more than one have said things to me where I'm like, that makes no sense from a common sense standpoint. From the little bit of science history that I have, because I did take sciences in school, what you're saying to me makes no sense, and I lost faith in doctors. So I hope you have faith in your doctors, because we should have faith in our doctors. They hold a lot of power, and they're there to help us, but they need to start learning to talk to us like we have common sense. They need to learn to start talking to us like we can go home and do research. I mean, honestly, with just the access to the internet that we have, the access we have to PubMed, if you have any ability to read and understand information and data, you can fact check what your doctors are telling you. The access we have to the numbers needed to treat website, which I know they've been trying to hide it, but it's still findable if you look hard enough, that tells you whether or not medication that you're taking is effective. So basically, if, it tells you whether or not the majority of people who take it actually get the outcome that they were told they were going to get. And often the answer is no. And I know a lot of people don't know that. It's rare that you take a medication and actually get, like, even something as widely taken as headache medication, the numbers needed to treat is 2. So 1 in 2 people will get positive outcome. That's kind of crazy. 50%. And I happen to fall in the 50% that doesn't get help. So we take a lot of things believing that they're going to work that don't work. And if we're unlucky like me, and you fall in that percentage of where most things just don't seem to work with me, but maybe that wasn't unlucky. I go back to that. Maybe I'm lucky that these medications didn't work, because when I was actually in a problem, it forced me to find the real answer. So Wellness Warrior, if you're one of those people that every medication just works for you and you don't have to, if you're one of those people, maybe you should start questioning, what am I taking? What is it covering up? What side effects am I actually having from what I'm taking? Because everything you put in your mouth has an effect and a side effect. Everything. right? When we eat healthy meat, fish, poultry, eggs, the effect is our body is stronger and has energy and can repair itself and grow itself and do all the good things. And the side effect is the waste that we produce. Yeah, there's side effects, right? When we eat pretend food, well, the effect is, well, apparently stomach discomfort, but the effect is, yes, we get some carbohydrates, which our body didn't need. There's a lot of anti-nutrients that blocks the micronutrients in that vegetation from getting to us. So a lot of times we think we're getting micronutrients, but we're not getting them. Like I said, they cause stomach disturbance. They cause fatty liver issues because of fructose. They cause insulin issues because of the glucose. They have all kinds of different toxins. Like, so for example, nightshades have solanine in them. Broccoli has some really toxic stuff in it. Like, every plant has a defense mechanism. If you're eating tubers, so the ones that grow underground, there's all the starches that break into short chains of carbohydrates that get into the system really quick and spike our insulin. Wheat spikes our insulin hell of a lot. And so, and of course it's full of toxins. Like, there's not a plant that we eat that isn't cause. So when we take medications, which are often made from plants, yeah, and we take supplements that are, maybe they're plants and they might be minerals and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they're doing stuff in our body that we might think we want, but also a bunch of stuff that we probably don't want, but we take them because somebody's convinced us that these are good. I'm really encouraging you, do more research. Look into the stuff because, yeah. Good morning. Here is just before 6 p.m. Okay, a little bit later than we are. We had a nice weather the last couple of weeks, warm enough to roll up your trousers. SJS, not, I'm not sure how to say your name. SJ's Ja. Nice to have you here, and I'm glad that the weather's warm there. I'm looking forward to this. I'm here for that. I share your frustration. Yeah, it's difficult to watch. Yeah, we don't want to see people leave early. I lost too many people early. And the check-in, 1, 2, 3. Yay! You got all 7 days. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you. So this is our weekly check-in on, I think it's jumping on your rebounder. So our exercise routine. I don't know if you've added anything, Sing It, to your exercise routine, or is it still strictly rebounding? But I'm so excited to share with you guys today that I've been on my streak of every other day, and I've kept that up. I still wake up every morning asking, is this a jumping day or is it not a jumping day? So it blows my mind. I'm impressed with myself. I'm starting my day with my jump and my jump and workout, because I've added working out to that routine. So what used to take me, I would say it used to take me just like 15-ish minutes to just jump and like I would walk away. And now I'm doing about 40-ish minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. I'm not doing a gigantic workout. I'm just trying to hit different muscles on different days. I'm trying to learn to do that pull-up that I kept saying I'm going to do. So it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm starting to see some movement when I pull. And yeah, so it's really fun. So thank you for the check-in. That's my check-in. Every other day is still going. And if anyone else wants to check in, is there something that you want to be doing, that you want to have accountability, and you want to come here and I will read out to everyone that you're still on track? Put it in the comments right now. What are you working on? Is it eating? Let's say you're trying to eat healthy every day, for example. Maybe you're trying to drink more water. Maybe you're trying to work out like we are. Maybe you're trying to get enough iodine every single day. Or maybe you're working on like remembering to have some salt on your food every single day. Because some people, like we grew up in a time where salt was so banished that I need to remind people to put salt on their food. So maybe that's something you're working on. Like in the comments, if there's something that you want to have the accountability to come back and say, this is how many days a week, this is how many days I did it this week. So let us know what you're trying to accomplish. right? So are you trying to accomplish every other day? Then let us know. Every third day, let us know. Or something that's daily, let us know. And yeah, we can help you to stay on track. You can feel proud of yourself by saying, hey, this week I did it this many times. But when you miss, you have to talk about it too. Singa is very on it, and if she only did a few days, she lets us know that she missed a few days. And then that's what keeps us accountable, right? That's what makes the 7 on 7s feel like even more of a win, because I did it, right? This is all for real. So congratulations, Singa. Love seeing that. Her Heru, her you black gold. I'm not sure if that's Heru black gold or it's her you black gold, but sister, it took you 47 years to learn this. It took me 60 years to finally learn and figure out what my body needed. 60 years. Okay. But you know what? There's no time limit on this. Since we are supposed to live 120 years, Heru, I'm going to assume, you are only halfway in, right? The second half of your life is going to look amazing. And I think that's the most important thing, right? Like, I already gave away 23 years of my life to pain. And I didn't fully give it away. I mean, I was still doing activities. I pushed myself, but like, I couldn't do activities the way that I do today. Today, I'm actually able to do an activity like working out, but even like rollerblading, longboarding, whatever I'm going to do. And then the very next day, do something else. In my history, what happened was I would do an activity, and then I would need to take 2 or 3 days for my body to recuperate before I could do another activity, which often meant that, especially when my daughter was young, I was only able to do like one activity with her per weekend because I just couldn't physically manage because of all the pain that my body would be in after we did the activity. Whereas once I started my keto way of life, which she was how the heck old was she? 13? Actually, yeah, she was 13. Wow, it's like not that long ago that I got my life under control. But yeah, like once I started my keto way of life, I was able to do activities with her, like just whenever I wanted, as long as I wanted. Like after that 3 months where my body felt better, we could just do stuff. Like I remember the first time that I went climbing, like I climbed and I kept up with her. And I was still overweight. And I kept up with her. Like before, I wasn't able to keep up with my daughter when she climbed. Like she would be, I mean, okay, I could keep up with her when she was like in the early stages, when she was like, I think we started climbing, she was 4 or 5. 4, I think. So like, yes, of course, in those little whatevers, I could keep up with her because she was a little small kid. But by the time she hit around 7, like she was constantly waiting for me. Come on, mom, come on, mom. She was waiting for me. And yeah, like 13, I was able to keep it with her again. Like and we did some hard climbs because I could actually pull myself up the climbs. We're talking about tree to tree climbing here, and I could keep up with her. So we don't really know how our life is not like we think. I used to think that if I made it to 80, 90, like that was great. No, I'm looking at that 120 now, man. I'm gonna make it over there. Forgot to say that I'm in Germany with 17 Celsius. Oh, cool. Germany. Wow. Thanks for jumping in from Germany and 17 Celsius. Okay, 17 is really good, actually. Wow. Congratulations to you guys over there. I wish we had 17. I think, what are we hovering around right now? We're not doing too bad today either. I'm pretty sure we're at 12 right now. So 12 is pretty good for this time of year in Montreal. So, and in the west, in Quebec, Montreal, yeah. Washington State here, mid-30s, 9 a.m. All right, yeah, that's again mid-30s. I'm assuming. So I'm assuming 30s Fahrenheit, since you're in the U.S. So I know that's a little bit on the lower side. Oh my goodness, Maximilius, thank you so much for letting me know that I helped you. I'm going to add your name to the list. And you're coming in from Amsterdam. your name. So is Mark your name? Maximilius. So Mark, I'm gonna add. Well, I'll probably add the at Maximilius. So that's what I've been doing. Just been adding people's ats. So and you're from that really does help me to know that I've helped you. And of course, I'm gonna put you on my shirt. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's horrible, Violet. I have had a resection done on my colon. Little did I know. Yeah. So I don't know if you ended up having SIBO when you after that resection and all that stuff, but people just aren't aware what they risk having the surgeries. Even people like I've talked to so many people who have gastric bypass or sleeves or like different procedures done for weight loss, and they don't realize, first of all, if you do stuff that like makes your stomach not able to hold as much, so like some of those surgeries, you're actually limiting your body's ability to heal you because you're not bringing in as much nutrient dense food when you do eat, right? So that even if you're eating the right things, you can't bring in as much because they've made your stomach smaller. But you're also limiting your body's ability to process that stuff before it's getting passed through because you've made your stomach smaller. And most people who have these procedures don't know that they should be eating meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt. So they keep eating either processed garbage or plant matter, like fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, whatever. And their body is just getting even like they're filling their stomach up with non-nutritive stuff. Their body can't heal. Their body can't do good things for them. Like the trap is so huge. So thanks for sharing that. It's unfortunate that you didn't find keto and carnivore before that procedure, but now that you have it, at least you can give your body what it actually needs so that it can keep you as healthy as it possibly can now, right? Because that's the most important thing, is to keep yourself as healthy as possible now. Chicken wings can be healthy if prepared right. Oh, absolutely. I don't bother cooking chicken wings because I just find like the amount of bone to meat ratio for me is just, it's frustrating. I typically eat chicken thighs. That's my go-to piece of chicken. If I have to, I'll have chicken legs, but I really don't. I prefer chicken thighs. I find that the fat in there is higher content and it just tastes better. But anything can be cooked appropriately. You can even still fry your meats if you fry them with the right oils, right? If you use animal-based oils like tallow, lard, butter, bacon grease, you can totally fry things in a healthy way. Let's see. You help me with your positive attitude, Sandra. So am I supposed to add you to the list then? Are you saying that my positive attitude helped you to stay on track and etc.? Because if yes, I will add you to the list. Thank you. So it's done. Are you saying I can just call you Da? So is that the name? Like Da is the first name? If that's correct, then I will try to remember to call you Da. Cool. Thank you very much. I love meeting new people too, because I feel like my community is getting a little wider. Like I'm seeing new names, which is really fun. And again, I want you guys to share with me, like, what are we working on? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you already there? Are you at your goal weight? And this is all of what we're talking about is mindset and just keeping myself there and staying on track, because that's cool too. I definitely will acknowledge that speaking to you guys is good for me because it does keep the healthy stuff top of mind, right? So like, it's part of the reason that I think even just being part of any community is good for us, because when we're talking about healthy, positive things, we keep those healthy, positive things top of mind. When we're on our own, we have much more possibility of being in our negatives, right? Like, oh, I have bills to pay. I have the house to clean. I have like all these problems can like overtake our lives, and we forget that we have good things going on too, right? That we have, beautiful pets that are sleeping beside us. or beautiful family members that want to see us and friends who want to see us. And so all the positives kind of can get missed if we're not paying close enough attention. Let's see. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Haru. Like I'm glad to have some confirmation that you agree with what I'm teaching. So, Big Truck in 1974 is coming from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I really enjoy your talks. It keeps me grounded and focused. Oh, so are you another one telling me that I've helped you? This is terrific. I'm gonna definitely go through this live stream and add everybody's name who's here telling me that I've been helpful to them to my list. And I'm like my goal, I keep saying this, like my goal was to make the shirt when I got to 30, but now I've kind of tipped over, like at 31 or something like that. So now I'm like, oh, maybe I'll make it when I get to 40. I might end up making it when I don't know. Like I want to hit a number and just like say, okay, so this number on that shirt and then make a new milestone. And so I can have like, maybe I should do it to 50 for the first shirt. Which then I would need more of you guys telling me that I've been helpful. So come on, if there's anybody else in here who I've helped, let's try to get the shirt to 50 so I can make that first one. Because I do plan to wear it on streams once I've made it, just to show you guys like these are the people that have said that I helped them. I don't know if I can actually get them to write like right up here so that it's much more visible, because that would be super cool. So I have a question about sea moss. Does it really have 92 out of 102 minerals the body needs? I don't know if sea moss has all of that, but what I will say is that even if it did, there must be a fish or sea animal that eats sea moss that would transform that moss into something that we could eat, because I believe sea moss is some kind of plant. Right? Let me double check. Is sea moss a plant or is it SEAMOSS? A plant? Yeah, sea moss is a type of edible plant. Yeah, so like because sea moss is a plant, yeah, I would rather find the animal that eats sea moss and eat that. So whether or not it has, what do you say, 102 out of 109, 92 out of 102 minerals. But you know what else has the minerals that our body needs? Animal foods. Meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and eggs especially is a complete food. So eggs has everything that our body needs, right? And that's why it can create a new entity, because there's everything in there that's necessary to make the entity. So an egg is actually complete, whereas sea moss you're telling me is missing 20. I hope that's helpful. Facts. Food and too much tampering with it. Yeah. So you know what? Like I honestly feel that part of our problem is that whenever we find something that's good, we try to make money from it. And in our effort to make money from it, we try to make it this profitable process rather than realizing that there are certain things that like they have a process they need to go through, right? Like when you are trying to grow an animal to feed another animal, so in this case, growing livestock to feed humans, you need to grow the animal properly, which means you need to feed it the right things, like its diet, so that it grows appropriately, so that when we eat it, it feeds our diet appropriately. We keep trying to find ways to cheaply grow livestock, and then we don't give them what they need, whether it's the right food, we don't give them the right space to run around and exercise and make that muscle meat that we're going to eat. We don't give them the right social, like making sure that they're not overcrowded with their mates, but have enough mates with them so that they have a good life experience. Because a cow or pig or whatever turkey, whatever animal you're trying to eat, if it lives a good experience, then its body will be built the best way because it won't be stressed and it won't. Because we think that we're the only ones that have hormones that impact how our skin is going. And like, right, but every animal is going to have that, right? We're growing our fish in tanks where they're so like stuck together that their life is miserable. Well, of course, they're not going to have the quality that we want them to have. But at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because no matter how poor quality that is, and we definitely should be talking to the powers that be to make sure that they treat our animals properly so that they can have the good life that they should have before they turn into food for us. So we should be doing that. But at the end of the day, poor quality meat raised in these kind of stupid scenarios still better for us than vegetation, because our body is not meant to be made purely on vegetation. Meat and fat only need digestive acids. No, they need more than just digestive acids. There's other things that happen in the process. There are enzymes and other things that are going on that are in the process of what needs to happen to our food to get it to all the right places. But I will say that like meat with its accompanying fat are the most readily digestible to us because it's what our body is expecting us to eat, because it's what our body uses to build and fuel us and do all the things it needs to do to us properly. So yeah. Nikita Donitki, how do you deal with high cholesterol? Since on carnivore, my cholesterol is very high. What I've learned is that high cholesterol isn't an issue. And your cholesterol, first of all, this is something that when I learned it, I was just like, because of this, now everything they say about cholesterol makes no sense. Like we're supposed to have, I can't remember the numbers, I think it's something like 5,000 milligrams of cholesterol per day or something. Like our body's looking for like a large amount of cholesterol per day. And I can't remember exactly what the number is, but that's not the point. The point is, if we don't eat it, our body makes it. That's important for us to understand. If we don't eat it, our body makes it. So now the new question becomes, well, why do people who eat healthy have more cholesterol in their body just like that all of a sudden? And what I was made to understand, I can't remember which doctor it was that talked about this, but it was basic biology. When I eat better for a few days and my body starts to believe me that we're not going to run out of food and it can actually start to lose weight, so break down fat. Of course, when my body breaks down fat, it's not just releasing fat, it's releasing cholesterol, right? Because fat is made up of like cholesterol. So as my body breaks down the fat and starts using it, yeah, there's more free floating cholesterol in my body. That is not a problem. The cholesterol was in my body the entire time. So that's number one. Number two, they've pointed out that, yeah, if you eat more cholesterol, your body just makes less. So like your body is always trying to do the balance between, because homeostasis is the most important thing your body is doing all day long, all the time. Everything is in balance because everything needs to be in balance because balance is important. So your body is always working on that homeostasis. However, when it's broken down a bunch of fat and that stuff is floating around, it's not problematic. So your body isn't worried about it. It's not like it's like, oh my God, we got to sequester this cholesterol. No, cholesterol is normal in the body. It's healthy for the body. It's used to make hormones, to make cells, to make those lipid bilayers of cells, to like everything in your body has cholesterol in it. Your body is not afraid of cholesterol. And I honestly want you to think about it like someone being worried because they opened the window and more air was coming into, oh my God, but more air is coming into the house. No, you're not going to worry about that. You could be standing there, the breeze could be hitting you right in the face, and nobody's scared of the more air coming in the house because what? Because there's air in the house. Right? We're not worried about more air coming in because air is already in here. Your body's not worried about more cholesterol being there because cholesterol is already there. Damaged cholesterol is a different story. But again, when we break down the fat that we were carrying, the fat that our body made on purpose, That's not damaged cholesterol. It's just cholesterol. So I hope that clarifies things, because I do feel like there are lots of doctors that are still pushing this narrative that cholesterol is bad, and like it really isn't. Like, you need to know what you're dealing with. Damaged cholesterol, that is bad. Right? So that's the VLDL cholesterol. That stuff's bad. The rest of the stuff, it's cholesterol. Your body makes it. And if you were to magically be able to take it out, your body would make it and put it back. So I hope that answers the question. Great. So this is Chris Hill. Great discussion. Reminds me of how I told my friend I didn't pass gas anymore since carnivore. He didn't believe me and said it was impossible and thought something was wrong with me. I know, like, we are so brainwashed to think that we must be gassy all the time. We are so brainwashed to think that, like, oh, it's just part of the way our body functions. It is a lie that it's part of the way our body. We are not meant to be gassy 24/7. We're not meant to be gassy at all. Right? And I mean, sure, if you happen to get a little bit of vegetation in, back in the day when when we were eating off the land and we took down an animal, and maybe as we were eating some of their internals, we got some vegetation or whatever, some grass came in with, yeah, you might have a little bit of something happen there because your body's going to react to that. But to have gas weekly, no, that tells you that the food plan you're on is creating gas. And you therefore need to change what you're doing. You need to adjust what you're eating. And like I've said, the amount of carbohydrate that we need to eat is absolutely none. We don't need it. Our body makes all the carbohydrates and it makes the best carbohydrate, glucose. It makes it because that's what our body understands. It works with, it does well with. That's what it understands, right? Do other kinds get made in other processes? Yes. But when our body is making sugar for us to use in processes, like big time, like muscle movement and energy production, it's making glucose, right? It's not these byproduct things. It's making actual glucose for us to use. All the other stuff that they're getting fructose and galactose and all these, yeah, our body's not looking for that. Carnivore is the perfect elimination diet that can be used to figure out what might be causing your issues. It's not an elimination diet. I don't want people to use it as an elimination diet, because one of the things we don't think about is that our body absolutely wants to live on meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt. And I learned from Sally Norton that I made a little bit of a mistake when I did my carnivore for 2 months scenario, because she pointed out to me, which I hadn't thought about because I didn't know this at the time, which goes back to there's so much we don't know. And so therefore, so many issues that we could end up living because we don't know this information, right? Which is why we really do need to pay more attention and do our research and try to make sure that we gather what we need to gather before we do anything. What she helped me to understand was, when you do a carnivore diet, you've removed all the plant matter and your body will start to heal you. And your body's going to trust you. Right? Like, oh, this is the new scenario we're in, and it's going to start healing. It takes 20 years to rebuild one of these from zero to, so from today, 20 years from now, I will be completely rebuilt cells. Completely. Everything. And this is 20 years ago, these cells were not here. Because that's what's happening all the time. We are constantly rebuilding. This process that we're doing, where we take so we go carnivore, let's say, and our body's rebuilding us, and it's like, oh wow, great materials are coming in. This is amazing. Ooh, this is good. Great materials coming. I love this. Okay, what? That process, that of the stuff that comes in, right? When we bring back, well, like let's say we bring back fruits and vegetables, my body, again, the gas is going to happen. My body's going to react. What the hell is that? The toxins are coming back in. And now we risk oxalate dumping, according to Sally. So that was when she was more focused on, like, because there's oxalate in almost everything every vegetation we eat, almost every piece of vegetation we eat has oxalates in it. So we risk oxalate dumping. But with more research and more thought on this process, and again, I should say with more thought on this process. I'm not going to call research into this. This is me thinking. If my body oxalate dumps because it's in a panic that, oh my gosh, she's bringing back oxalate. Let me get rid of as much of it as possible before it starts piling up again. What makes me think that it's not going to dump other toxins? And I can tell you for myself that my hands reaction told me that. Like my skin, which got like really like it wasn't like gritty like she was talking about with oxalates, but my skin just couldn't be nice like it is right now. It like my hands were peeling and like it just my skin could not create itself when I brought back coconut oil to my diet. It couldn't do so. And there were other things that happened where it's like I had skin and it's like, you know what? I now understand. Carnivore is not an eliminate. If you go to carnivore, your body is now expecting this is what you're eating. That's why I keep telling people, when you remove something, be clear that you're removing it and you're not bringing it back. Because if you remove it and bring it back and remove it and bring it back, you're causing your body to be in a yo-yo scenario with this food. And each time you remove it, it's going to have a harder time of trusting that it's not coming back. It's not letting go of things. So a lot of people can't understand why they're not losing weight. But they will be in a nice weight loss trajectory. Their body's trying to heal, and then they bring stuff back, and their body's in trouble, and it's struggling again, and it's holding on. And then when they go back to eating properly, it just keeps holding, and keeps because it's not sure what's going on. Like Wellness Warrior, we need to understand that our body also pays attention to patterns, right? So I'm encouraging you, please do not treat carnivore as an elimination diet, right? Whatever you take out, you need to understand that you should take it out because you don't plan to bring it back. So that's all the way from standard diet. When you go down to keto, whatever vegetation you have there, that's what you're eating, right? Whatever you've taken away, for whatever good reason you took it away, that's what you're not eating. When you go to a party or some other scenario and that thing is there and you're like, oh, it's just one time, yes, you will have problems in the bathroom, but worse, you might trigger a dump and feel horrible and then think that carnivore or keto didn't work when in fact, no, you ate off plan and your body reacted and now you're in a problem. And like I said, watch that video from Holly because she talks about that too. She did have issues that happened and she had to readjust and she learned about oxalate dumping and all this stuff and understood that her body was struggling because she brought things back that her body did not want back. Food builds your body. Food fuels your body. Food is the basis of this thing being healthy or unhealthy. And we need to understand that. Imagine the savings on toilet paper. Honestly, yes. Yeah, that's a good one. I can tell you that I was a little bit less angry when my cat rolled off all the toilet paper just because I don't use as much toilet paper anymore, although I was still a little perturbed. But he's learned not to do that now. He's such a good boy. He's still sleeping right here beside me. They just sleep. Like, honestly, I thought he was going to keep me company. They just sleep. But he's been learning extremely well. And, like, I mean, when I call him, he comes, like, I would say 90% of the time. If I send him into a space, he will go. Like, I would say, again, about 90% of the time. So he's been really, and actually, if I call him and he doesn't come, if I just step and I tell him to go into the space, he will go. So I can play with those back and forth to get him to do what I want. But he's been such a good boy, and he's growing really well. So he's 1 year old now. I'll share that with you. He turned 1 on the 3rd, and he's 19.8 pounds. He's a Maine Coon. So I'm excited to see what his final size and weight is going to be. And it's all like just muscle and cat. Like there's no fat on him. Well, I mean, obviously a little bit of fat on him, but there's like, it's not fat. He's not a fat cat. He's actually at ideal weight. So I'm excited for it. We have a question here. from Sin John. Do you subscribe to the statement that carnivores absorb all the meat, and so we have infrequent bowel movements? So, do I subscribe to the statement? It's not a statement that I need to subscribe. Like, it's an idea that plays itself out. And all is a big word because we can never absorb all. That's why we still have bowel movements. But I definitely think the more healthy you eat, the less frequent your bowel movements because your body is absorbing more. And one thing that I will say is that even on my keto lifestyle, my bowel movements were less than on my standard diet lifestyle because I was absorbing more. And there was a period of time when I was doing keto where the only vegetation that I was eating was avocado, olives. So one day a week I would have avocado, one day of the week I would have olives, and one day of the week, every other week I should say, I would have a salad. So basically 2.5 times per week I was having vegetation. And from that state to going carnivore, again, I had now less bowel movements. So when I was first keto, less than standard diet, I got down to that state, less bowel movements again, and then I went down to carnivore, and it's because your body is using what you're eating, right? And yeah, it's good. It's what your body should have been doing the entire time. I want to point something out. I don't know if you ever noticed with cats or dogs, but I think cats do this more. Like dogs, yeah, because cats get preyed on, right? They're both predator and prey. If you notice their actions in the wild, but even in our litter tray, my Corey does the same thing. When he makes a poop, he hides it because he doesn't want predators to know where he is. So he hides it. And out in the wild, like if you have a garden, for example, like, and you're digging through your garden, you might find a hidden cat poop in your garden because cats don't want the predators to find them. We would have been the same back in the day because, like, when we start pooping, the animals around are going to be able to say, "Oops, there's something that I could be eating. I can smell it," right? Because obviously there's the sense, the smell of poop is more than the smell of us, right? So like it's going to travel further. And so we wouldn't have it would not have been advantageous for us to be pooping twice a day. The chance that we get caught, first of all, when you're pooping, it's not like you can run, right? You're kind of in a vulnerable position. But second of all, yeah, we would be just leaving a trail of, hey, come follow me, right? Even if you're bad at tracking, it's not that hard to track poop, right? So I definitely think that there's some merit to these ideas. And obviously there's the outcome that we all live in the carnivore, well, the keto and carnivore space, because I definitely felt it when I was keto as well. Hello, Stephanie. Nice to see you here. When I eat high protein meats, I only need to eat one meal a day with no energy crashes. I stay full all day by eating this way, not having to spend as much money to eat. That is the other big benefit when we're talking about the financial piece, is that we don't eat as often. And why don't we eat as often? It's not because we're trying not to eat as often. So let me just talk about myself here for a second. When I started keto, so this is even before carnivore, this is just telling you how eating healthy food makes all the difference. And can I just say, any students or people who like are financially tight, you should be looking at this. Because if there's one thing you can do to help yourself, where like you can keep yourself healthy and not waste money, it's eating properly. When I started keto, because Dr. Westman said eat 3 meals a day, and he's like, breakfast, lunch, and supper, he said your breakfast, he gave some options. I chose eggs, and then lunch and supper, so my lunches were meat and veg, and then my suppers were meat and veg. And sometimes it would be salad, sometimes it would be vegetables. right? Low glycemic, everything. I started with 3 meals a day very quickly. I was back to my 2 days and 2 meals a day because I was always doing 2 meals a day. And he said, eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full. So even though I started off trying to do what he said, 3 meals a day, eat when you're hungry, stop eating, I really quickly realized I can't do 3 meals a day. I'm not hungry first thing in the morning. So now I was at lunch, supper. And by the time lunch came around, I was hungry. But very quickly, I would say somewhere within like that first, somewhere between 3 and 5 months. And I'd have to go back and look at my tracker to find out exactly when it happened, because it might have been earlier than that. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, 3 to 5 months, I was pushing my breakfast back to lunch so far that I no longer had the need to eat lunch. By the time I was going to eat lunch, like supper was like an hour later. So it was more like, well, why don't I just have supper earlier? My suppers typically are around 7 or 8 or even 9 when I get home from work. So instead of eating at 6 and then going home and trying to eat supper at 7 or 8, I just was, oh, I'm just going to wait till I get home. And when that started happening, oh my goodness, did life get easier for me. Because now I'm not walking with food. I'm not having to worry about that. I'm not cleaning 2 sets of dishes, like all these things, right? So I want us to understand that, yes, you are going to be eating a larger meal when you eat that one meal. But at the same time, so for me, when it was keto, I had like my meat, which was a good portion of meat, and vegetables. And I always ate meat to vegetables. I understood that meat has to finish before the vegetables, because like that's the stuff on the plate that's like less healthy for you than the meat. And then, like I said to you, eventually I started to have days where I would just have meat. And like 2 or 3 days a week, I would have some kind of vegetation. And I did that for years. And honestly, it helped me so much because it let me see that, yeah, the days that I had just meat were fine. Like I didn't have to worry about it. And I wasn't throwing away vegetation anymore. Honestly, I used to throw away so much vegetation because I don't like vegetables. I never liked fruits. And vegetables were like on my plate because I thought they should be there. Like, it's just like, you're supposed to eat them, so I'm going to eat them. I don't like these things. So by the time that I really realized that I could eat a healthy meal and not have all that vegetation on my plate, I was the happiest person on the planet. And so I started doing that. And then when I went carnivore, same thing. So yes, the savings from not throwing away vegetation, the savings from eating like these few things. So even when I was doing keto, eating these few things, I know how much I'm going to have. Absolutely. But then once I went really full meat and maintained my 1 meal a day, now sometimes today I do 2 meals a day. So full transparency. I'm probably going to do 2 meals today, right? Because I do feel a little peckish right now. But whether I do 1 meal or 2 meals a day, like I'm still spending so much less than when I was buying regular groceries. Like the amount of waste from buying vegetation, first of all, but the amount of overeating, because I would eat stuff like this and be chased, and especially when I ate chocolate, and then I'm chasing hard. I'm not just eating chocolate, I'm overeating. And it would never have been a little stupidity like this. These are from Halloween. I grabbed one from my daughter back in the day. I mean, I don't even know what the date is on that. That's probably like 3-4 years old. But I wouldn't have eaten a little. I would have had a full size chocolate bar, and I probably would have had 2 or 3 throughout the day. It's ridiculous. And I still probably would have had some ice cream or some cookies, or like the stupid stuff that I used to eat because, well, it's normal, right? Everybody has dessert and everybody has, right? So all these, like after you eat a meal, you have something after you eat it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not helping your body. As a matter of fact, it's causing your body to put away the little bit of meat that you did eat, right? It's putting that in fat storage because you had too much. So absolutely agree with you that you will save. If the only thing you change is to stop buying processed foods and eat real food, like actual food, you're going to save money. If you eat the food you buy, so if you eat it, you're going to save money. But also, your health is going to improve. Just taking out processed foods, your health will improve. And when I say processed foods, I mean processed foods. That includes bread, right? That includes like the canned foods, like all those canned things. That includes what do you call it? Pasta, rice. Like when you take these things out of your diet, your health is going to improve. So I've lost 40 pounds on the keto diet. Okay. That's excellent. Congratulations. I don't know how much you had to lose. Like, was that the goal? If that was the goal, congrats. If you have more to lose, terrific. Then like I'm sure you're going to get there. And like I said, for you guys, like if there's something you're working on and you want to like come in every week and like tell me like what Sing It is doing with the like that can be really motivating to share with everyone. People think eating meat is expensive, but it really isn't, since there are lots more calories per pound in meat, so you eat less. But that can be hard to adjust to. So I just want to correct one little thing. Like calories aren't something that our body understands. So like our body isn't verifying calories. What we do have though is a nice input of fat that comes in, which is an energy source for the body. So it helps our body to fuel itself. And it's also a nice source of amino acids, which helps our body to build itself. And honestly, there will be days where you eat a lot of meat. So I can, again, put my hand up that I've had days where my body's, and I think right now, like my body is in another repair phase. What is it repairing? I don't know, but I trust it. But what I can tell you is, how do I know that it's in a repair phase? Because like I said, like right now I can feel myself a little peckish, right? I could eat something. And that tells me that my body's asking for more food at a time where it doesn't normally ask for food. That means something. So like if we don't acknowledge that, then we might think that like eating either less calories or more, like we would think calories mean something. But as Dr. Fung has taught us, our body doesn't understand calories. It understands protein, fat, and carbohydrate. That's what it understands. These things are instructions that tell it what to do. And so you can eat as much or as little as your body asks for, and it will do what it's supposed to do. And I encourage you to eat until your body tells you to stop. Because this is the other thing that I think when we think calories, the mistake that we make is that, well, meat's higher in calories, so therefore I'm going to eat only this much meat because I don't want to have, because I like, like that's how much calories I'm supposed to have. And your body tells you how much incoming food it needs to accomplish the goal it's trying to accomplish. I can tell you, and I will tell you if this changes, but it's been more than a month or two that I've been saying to you guys, yeah, I'm eating 2 meals sometimes. And it's not every day. That's the other piece. Like yesterday, I had 1 meal. And I totally would have had 2 if my body asked me for 2. I had 1. So it has to do with how much I eat and what my body is doing. And when it changes, I'll let you know. But like, the truth is, my body is asking for 2 meals because my body wants 2 meals, because my body's trying to accomplish whatever it's trying to accomplish. And that takes 2 meals. So like, if I'm over here trying to think that I know better than what my body's trying to accomplish, I might not give it the food it's asking for because I think I know better. And a great example of this wellness warrior is when I went on vacation. I have a video about this. I'm trying to remember the name of the video right now, but like it's something about like I ate more or something like that, like something to do with that. I went on vacation and I'm going to try to see if I can find it while I'm telling you the story. And I ended up like gaining, no, sorry, eating more than I've ever eaten because the place that I went to didn't have like fatty meats at supper time. And so after being a little hungry after the first night, I decided I was going to, next morning, I was just eating breakfast and I was having eggs and sausage and bacon and like I was just eating all the breakfast foods because I knew that at supper it was going to be lean meats. And I was right. Every single supper was lean. Even the chicken was chicken breasts. It was like couldn't get a chicken leg over there. And so I ended up thinking when I came home, I was like, oh, I'm for sure going to have gained something. I got home and I was actually 5 pounds lighter. And what I ended up learning was that when you eat, the protein that your body needs and you give it like everything that it's looking for, then your body's going to be able to, well, basically to help you to do what you're supposed to do. So if weight loss is on your agenda, and by this time I was carnivore, so let me just make that clarification. If weight loss is stalled, it could be because you're just not eating enough, right? And like this is a hard one for a lot of people because when we end up eating more, we end up like feeling scared that our body is going to just add that fat to our body. And we don't really realize that, no, it's not going to do that. What it's going to do is it's going to use it for what it's meant to use it for. If it was supposed to be energy, it's going to use it for energy. If it was supposed to be, I don't know what else. I feel like the video that I'm talking about is the incredible impact of eating eggs every day. I think that might be it, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Because I think I might have mentioned it in that because when I came back from vacation, I kept doing it. I added more protein, and I think that's how I did it. I added eggs to try to kind of try to level up the amount of energy that I was taking in. Yeah, it might be that video. But anyways, my point, Wellness Warrior, is that we don't realize that if we don't give our body what it needs, then it thinks we're in a problem. And if it thinks we're in a problem, again, it starts holding on to resources. Oh my God, I can't let go of some of this fat. Oh my God, it can't let go of things because if it lets go of the stuff, we're going to be in trouble. Or at least it thinks we're going to be in trouble. We wouldn't be because we have food around us 24/7. I always have food in this house. I have meat in the freezer. I have meat in the fridge. Like, I always have food, but my body doesn't know that. Da says, 1 pound of beef is just about all a person needs in a day. That we can't say for sure, Da, because it depends on what your lean body mass is. So, like, for example, like I can eat a pound of meat a day, whether it's beef or chicken or like whatever. I can eat a pound of meat a day. Whereas, like, if you're a bodybuilder or if you're like, like maybe same height as me, but you're a bodybuilder or whatever, you might need 1.5 pounds or 2. If you're male versus female, you might need more or less. So, and the other thing too is that, again, your body gives you a very strong signal when it's time to stop eating. We don't have to guess about this. Eat your food. And when your body just gives you that like all of a sudden this delicious tasting whatever you were eating, whatever kind of meat or fish it was, stops tasting good, that's your body saying stop eating. It is so obvious when it happens. It is so obvious that it's like we can't not see it after that. Like once I lived that moment, well, I lived it a few times. I didn't know what it was. I thought I just didn't like what I thought I didn't like pork belly anymore. I thought I didn't like ribs anymore. And then I learned that no, that's my body saying you've had enough for the day. And then the next day I touch it and I eat it and it tastes delicious again. And it's like, oh, okay. But that signal isn't slight. It is huge. Trust yourself. Simpson John says, I don't know I didn't know eggs were a source of iodine. I've upped my egg consumption, so I may have to rethink if iodine drop. Eggs are a source of iodine, but I think they only have like 25 micrograms per egg ish, like ish, and that's ish, right? Could be more, could be less, but 25 ish. So since we need like way more than the base RDAs are telling us, because the RDAs say 150, I kind of feel like for my body, when I was taking the supplements, like I feel like for my body, I needed way more than that. So I feel like for everybody, you need to like eat, whether it's actual fish. And fish has much more than eggs per serving, right? So like you can play with the amounts you eat. One thing that, oh, I can't remember. I think his name is Coach Steven, said that kind of caught my attention was that when you eat, so when you're trying to get up your amount of iodine, you want to actually push the envelope a little. So you want to get some iodine in, and you really like take extra to get yourself to your body to the right amount, and then you can start eating it normally, because your body actually does store some hormones in you, which of course makes sense, right? Because you got to deploy hormones all the time, so you will have some storage, and therefore, like over time, if you just keep eating the right amount, so whatever your right amount is, for me, what I've realized is that if I have one fish meal per week, and I'm playing with this, so this is my beginning. This is what I think I've realized. So I haven't actually put it down as like, this is a check mark for Violet yet. This is what I think I've realized. One fish meal per week, and then my side dish is something that has iodine in it, whether it's, a piece of fish, some calamari, some scallops, or maybe some eggs, like whatever I decide to put on the side. But that's like a smaller portion, like maybe it's 100 to 200 grams of whatever I'm putting on the side. So when I do that game with myself, I feel like that goes better. And I feel like my body has been feeling like really good. Like I haven't had cramps. Like everything just seems to be functioning properly when I do it this way. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. I used to hate sardines, but now I love them. Isn't it amazing how your taste buds change? It's like it's just amazing. I love it. I love the fact that we are so adaptable. Find a good local butcher for cheaper and healthier meats. Absolutely. That was one of the tricks that Pat and I found. So first thing we found was a butcher. And actually, when I started comparing the prices to the standard grocery store, like for the few pennies more we're paying at the butcher shop, we are getting meat that when you smell it, it doesn't smell like gross meat, versus at the grocery store. I've never opened a pack of meat that didn't smell like meat, like that meat, gross meat smell. At the butcher shop, it smells like nothing. And even when I pack it up and I put it in the freezer and take it out like a week later or 2 weeks later, it smells like nothing when I defrost it. So the quality of the meat you start with, I think, absolutely matters. And again, it's not costing more than it's costing me in the grocery store. So I definitely love that. And also, I've noticed I found a fish store, Sammy Fish, which the prices are much more reasonable. And again, when I open the fish doesn't smell gross. So it makes a difference. Trini girl, hello. Hi, I rather eat bad on carnivore than eat carb nonsense. Absolutely, Trini girl. I totally agree with you. When we eat carbs foolishness, we end up sick and not doing well. That's a great iodine and omega-3 source. I'm not sure which one you're talking. Oh, you're probably talking about the thing I looked up earlier, CMOS. For sure, it's a source. I don't know if it's great. I think you get much better out of fish and seafood. Grocery store meats are far inferior to butcher shops and meat stores. Absolutely. As long as we have as long as we have a for-profit healthcare system, there is no incentive to get people healthy. I couldn't agree more, and we need to change that system. And the worst part is we would need doctors regardless. People fall, things happen, like people get sick. Like we would need doctors no matter what. So doctors would still make money, but our medical system wouldn't be overly like our hospitals wouldn't be overrun with people, and people in the hallways just making each other even more sick. Like we would actually be able to give good care to the people who need the care if we were on a different kind of system. And we don't need to be on a for-profit system, by the way, because apparently in other countries they're not on this for-profit. Like Canada isn't so for-profit, but it's still profit. It is still profit. But there are countries in Europe and other places like, like that they're not for profit, and doctors still make good money. They get paid for every intervention, not for curing a patient. Yeah, definitely agree that we need to change our system. I love rebounding. I do it almost every day. It is fun. I don't do it every day because it's not located in an area where I'm going to stay there like most of the day. And I don't want to put it where I am most of the time because the space, for walking space, is not great. So I have it with my gym. I do have a little one that I might bring back upstairs to just jump on when I feel like it. Because I bought a bigger one because I wanted more space for my actual exercise jumping. But I wouldn't mind just standing on it and just kind of hopping around a little bit when I'm doing things that don't take much concentration. So I'm trying to lose some weight. Any advice? So I mean, like we've been talking about all kinds of things that are related to losing weight. Obviously, the most important thing if you're trying to lose weight is to eat real food. So meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt. That's real food. And then the next thing that you also want to do, so you want to do this, they're parallel. You're eating real food and you're decreasing the amount of fake food you're eating. So that's all carbohydrate-based foods. So that's fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and anything made from those products. So you're talking about pasta and bread and all that stuff. If you do that, you'll lose weight. Frank Kez. Yeah, but isn't fiber extremely important for long-term health and helps prevent certain diseases in older people? Isn't fiber super important? Absolutely not. It is not. And I think this is part of, like, I know why you're saying that, Frank, because we've been hammered over the head for years that we need fiber. It's not true. Our body does not need fiber. And our body isn't actually what is even digesting the fiber. It's the microbes in our gut that's digesting the fiber. So I want you to think about the fact that they get us to eat things that cause health issues to happen, and then they treat the health issues. And honestly, that's the reason for all of this, and we need to be clear about it. Our body does not need fiber. I have not had fiber. So I've been carnivore now for 2 years. I don't have any problems going to the bathroom. I'm thinking quite clearly. I have lots of energy. Like, there's nothing that causes us to need fiber. If I needed fiber with a NEED, then I'd already be feeling something. It's been 2 years plus, actually, because it's more than 2 years, that I haven't had any fiber. And I mean none. So, just putting that out there. Fiber is only needed if you eat processed grains. Honestly, it's not even. Like, I'll be honest with you, you never need fiber. Processed grains are fibers. They have fibers in them. Like all these things have fibers. All these stupidities have fiber in them. You don't actually need fiber. We don't need fiber ever. Okay, so Lambs is answering you. Older people need more protein and fat to preserve muscle. That's actually true. I didn't even say that part, but thank you, Lambs, for pointing that out. I lost 26 centimeters. So I lost CA 20 of my colon due to diverticulitis. Oh, I see. Okay. I thought huge salads were healthy. This is what's so sad, is that when they're doing these procedures on us, like we walk away with the permanent repercussion of having followed their advice. Again, I don't specifically blame doctors for this because they are being taught this. It's coming from above them. So they're being taught, oh, if this person has this condition, this is the result they do. But nobody is being taught that is the food cause, like there's a gap in between what the problem is and what the solution that's being proposed. And there's a gap in here of like, but why is the problem happening? Why do we need to get to that point where we're cutting out people's colon? That's where I don't blame the doctors, because there have been doctors who have gone through the same procedure. So if they knew it, they wouldn't do it to themselves. There are doctors who are obese. There are doctors with skin problems. There are doctors with dementia. There are doctors with like all these things, IBS, all these things. There are doctors taking statins. There are doctors with all these things. If they knew, they wouldn't be in these situations. So I'm not blaming the doctors. I want to be very clear that I say that. But at the same time, my expectation is that doctors can read the research and understand the research. And why are they not keeping up to date and validating and fact checking and even calling out the poor quality research that we've been having in the last like 20, 30, 40 years? If they were reading the research and keeping up to date, they'd have been saying, oh, these procedures were not done properly, right? They weren't held to the right standards. So yeah. I get upset about these things. My ex-mother-in-law had diverticulitis. I sent her the book Fiber Menace. Well, it was very nice of you to do that and help her out, because I haven't read the book, but I'm assuming that it gives the good information. Yeah, my online name. Okay, cool. Thank you for the clarification. But I do like keto diet. Also, I lost over 50 pounds on keto. There's nothing wrong with keto. I feel like it's like, where on the spectrum, on the continuum, do you end up stopping? Like, there's so much wrong with the standard diet. And then you can step to paleo, which is better than the standard diet. And then you can step to, let's say, low carb, which is better than paleo and standard, right? Because you're bringing those carbohydrates down, and you're still in that whole real foods place. If you do it with real foods. If you do a low carb and you're still eating junk, like any of these diets can be messed up if you're eating junk. Messed up if you're eating a bunch of jerky and like, pemmican and all these like fake foods, but if you're buying it from a store, it's fake food, right? So if you're eating a lot of processed stuff, you're still leaving room for them to put stuff in your food. I mean, let's just not forget about the Element scandal that happened, where they were telling you that there wasn't stuff in it that was actually in it. Like, companies want to make money. And even companies that start out with good intentions get pressure to make money. So we need to understand that, because if we don't understand that, they're going to keep getting us, and they're going to keep getting us, and they're going to keep getting us. But yeah, like I definitely feel like keto, so low carb with real food, better than standard and paleo. And then keto, better than low carb with real food, right? And then, of course, carnivore, only real food, better than all of them, because now you're actually just eating what you're meant to eat. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's going to make their decision. If I'm doing a standard diet, I feel fine, and I don't see the need to do anything of what you guys are doing. Yeah, you're rolling the dice, but if you feel fine, you feel fine. I'm going to point out, though, for all of these diets, up to take carnivore off the table, keto and above, for all of these diets, if you feel fine, you have no rashes, you have no nothing going on, like everything feels fine, we still need to be aware that any internal damage that is quietly being made by plants isn't felt until the damage is to the point where it's out of control. I just want to point that out, because I think a lot of people don't let themselves keep that in mind. When you get to the point where it's out of control, yes, then you feel it. But by that point, they're reeling you into procedure, or you're on a heavy medication and you're caught in the system once again. So, but I definitely think that anything is better than standard American diet. If you can take one step towards paleo, and that's all you ever do, you're still 1,000 times better off than if you stayed on the standard American diet. So same here. Lambs is saying, for me, it was whole grain bread that did the trick. Okay. Okay. Let's see. My LDL is too high, and my doctor wants me on statins. Ration of triglyceride, ration of, looks perfect. So, Nikita, what I will say is that very recently, I think it was the World Health Organization or like some other big organization came out and said statins are a scam. So if your doctor wants you on statins, I would point him towards that data and ask him, why do you want to put me on something that the World Health Organization is saying is a scam? That like, doesn't do anything. It actually doesn't do anything. As a matter of fact, it causes more harm than good, apparently, to what compared to what they found and when they actually looked into it and whatever. And so, like, even that would make me question: is this the right doctor for me? Are you keeping up to date to the stuff that's being screamed out into the world? Right? When these things come up, I'm noticing them. How come you're not noticing them? So that's the kind of thing I would ask you to talk to your doctor about. Carnivore since New Year's, down 10 kilograms, and my body doesn't hurt. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's so cool when we get our body back, when we can actually start doing activities again and just living life and feeling amazing. Congratulations, Julie Brown, for your body getting back to what it's supposed to be. Love that. Let's see. We have chats like this help me stay on track, but my body not hurting keeps me eating for health, not pleasure. Is that your way of telling me that I helped you too? Because if it is, I'm going to add you to my list of people that I've helped, because I do make these videos to help you guys to stay on track. That's the whole point, right? Like, I know a lot of you come in here and you already know this stuff. So some of it I'm talking because I'm trying to help anybody who's new, who's like just doesn't know what we're talking about, understand like why do we eat this way. But I love the second half where we talk things through, and I get to just share my ideas and thoughts about like why this is better. So yeah, I'm going to add you to my list, because if this helps to keep you on track, then you're another person that I've helped. I'm telling you, like, my goal is to know that something I've did contributed to somebody staying healthy or getting healthy or like just their life improving. And so I'm very happy to add you to my list, Julie Brown. Lamb says, awesome. Food is seen as entertainment in our society. Yeah, I know. I hate that. Not the best way to go about it. Yeah, this is one of the things that drives me crazy. I've always, like I have my other shirt that says prioritize health over taste for exactly that reason. We entertain our mouths with food. We entertain our lives with food. And then we end up in health problems. We need to prioritize health over the taste of fun stupidities, and understand that the best way for your body to allow you to do the fun stuff, right? You want to go and do activities with your friends. You want to be able to go to work and be clear-headed, level-headed, and be able to just like do your work. You want to be able to do so many things that you can't do because your body's aching, because your mind is like stepping into dementia like too early. Matter of fact, ever. Like, we are not supposed to become demented. That's another thing. It's just like there's so many things that we just accept as normal because we eat wrong and our body is reacting to the fact that we eat wrong. Vivian, hello. I'm new here. It's okay. And I was wondering, is it okay to eat lemons on carnivore? Every plant has some kind of defense mechanism in it. Is it okay? I mean, you're going to eat whatever you're going to eat. So I can't say yes or no to that, because I know you're going to do what you're doing. But what I will say is every plant has its own toxin in it, right? The astringentness of lemon tells us something. Now, I know a lot of people will squish a little bit of lemon in their water to make it taste a little better, and they'll do all kinds of things. I'm guaranteeing you, Vivian, if you eat meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt, and you eat them every day, moving forward, without fail, meat, fish, poultry, eggs with salt, at some point what you're going to realize is that all of a sudden the sugar and all that, those flavors that used to pull your attention don't pull your attention as much, because your mouth will get trained on meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt. And this is what we don't understand, right? We don't understand that it's because we eat the thing that is still impacting us. So I'm now talking about spices. All the things that we put spices all over our food. Lemon is a spice, right? We're putting all these things all over our food, and then we don't understand why we're still chasing. We're still chasing because we're putting lemon on our food and spices on our food and all this stuff on our food. If you want to be able to do carnivore, get your body and your health and your weight and everything regulated, and then go off and have fun with people, activities, and like living your life and being the person that you are, the first thing you're going to do is put down this idea that I need it to taste fun or different. So, but of course, I can't tell you not to use lemons on carnivore. A lot of carnivores use lemon. A lot of carnivores, apparently there are carnivores using honey. So that's ill-advised, but they're doing it. So, like, you're going to eat the way that you're going to eat, but I want you to consider, what is putting lemon on your food doing? It's keeping your mouth trained on these extra flavors and not letting your mouth actually learn to love the taste of meat, fish, poultry, eggs. I'm telling you, hand to God, I'm telling you, I hated fish. I hated all seafood. My dad is a chef, and he would bring home lobster and I would cry because I didn't want to eat it. My dad would bring home steak and I would cry. I didn't want to eat it. Now that was a thalassemia thing, so that was different. But I that fish thing has stayed with me for my life until 2 years ago when I went carnivore. And actually went carnivore. I went full on meat, fish, poultry, eggs, salt. I took spices out. Because Dr. Chafee helped me to understand spices are the most toxic part of the plant. And when I took those out, everything changed. Everything. Fish tastes good. Turkey, I used to hate. Tastes good. Ham, I used to hate. Tastes good. Now, am I chasing after turkey and ham? No. But if it's on the menu for wherever I go, yeah, I'm going to eat it. Am I chasing after fish? Kinda. But more because I know I should be eating it because it gives me my iodine. And selenium? Is that what it is? I want to say selenium. I think it's selenium. Because I know I need those things, I'm eating it. So I want you to think about this from the perspective of, is this thing healthy? Because if it's healthy, obviously it's something we can eat. Everything that's healthy, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and salt, we can eat as much of those things as we want. Everything else, I really caution you to eat as little of them as possible. Where I said whole grains did the trick, I meant to say did the harm. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Wow, so fiber is bad, sure. Yeah, friend. Yeah, it's bad. You could keep eating it if that makes you feel good, because the world is telling you that fiber isn't a problem. But if you've been paying attention to what's been happening in the US with all the new things that are coming across from RFK, and he's not talking about these things because he just wants to be popular. He's talking about these things because he lived them and he understands. He understands that his scenario was based on companies taking advantage of us, right? They sell us things that they know will cause us to be compelled to have more of these things, which is not the same thing as eating something because it's good for you. I eat fish because it's good for me, right? I eat chicken because it's good for me. I eat eggs because they're good for me, not because I'm compelled. And there's a huge difference between those things. So obviously, if you don't believe that, you don't have to watch the channel, right? You don't have to. But this is not a new angle. We've known this for years. I have been saying, if you go back and look at my channel, I've been saying for years, we don't need any carbohydrates. So just because you weren't aware doesn't mean that it's not reality. And this looks like it's my last comment. So if it is, I'm going to be saying goodbye after this one. It says, and we should. Humanity is getting sicker year by year, and at a crazy tempo. And thank you, Lambs, for responding to our friend there, because it's true. We are so used to just doing what we're told, and we don't realize that they're telling us what to do in ways that profit them and leave us to waffle and to be sick and to not be able to manage our lives properly. All right, like, again, I want you guys to watch Holly's video. Like I said, it's linked below. You can click on it after this, because that video, she talks about all she went through to get her health back, and her found understanding that her gut issues were causing everything else, which is so crazy. And she did have oxalate dumping and other things happen. So her story is very interesting. So check out that video next. And there's links down there for all the things that I talked about earlier. Join the channel membership, and join the coaching if you want me to help you to get your health back. Can't wait to talk to you guys again next Monday at 11:20. I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye, guys. Today's video is brought to you by my keto consultations. You know how to do keto, but you're having trouble just sticking with it? Book a consultation with me and we're going to get you back on track. The link is in the description.